Hey everyone, my name's Jamin. Thanks so much for visiting my channel. In this video, I have a Samsung Galaxy Book Flex. I'm going to show you how to get inside, access your motherboard. So first thing, power down your computer the correct way. Make sure it's off and unplugged from your charger. We're then going to flip it over to access our bottom case screws. Now, as you see on the bottom of your computer, there's a rubber foot in each of the four corners that's held down by either double-sided tape or very light glue. So if you have a small flat pry tool, maybe like a small screwdriver, you can get it under there and pop those up fairly easily. Just be aware they are rubber, so if you're not getting under there enough, or if you're popping it up too hard or too unevenly, you can damage them. After you get the rubber feet off, they will each reveal a screw underneath. Once you take that screw off, you'll take a small flat pry tool and you're going to go around the seam of the bottom case and pry it off from your computer. Now, if you watch my videos, you'll know that for metal computers, I generally recommend a plastic pry tool because they scratch your case less. However, with this bottom case, even though it's metal, I had a hard time getting this bottom case off. It's really stuck on there, really snapped on there very well. So I had to end up using a metal pry tool, even though that wasn't my first option. So if you do go that route, just be very careful not to damage your bottom case. And also be aware there are only 4 screws holding this down. It may be very difficult to pop that up, but that's just this computer, unfortunately. After you get your bottom case off, this is what you're looking at for the inside of your computer. Now, as a general repair side note, whenever I'm operating on a computer in my shop, it's sitting on an anti-static mat. Either that or an anti-static bracelet are great ideas to avoid damaging anything in your computer when you're working on it. If you need any help with any tools or supplies for your computer project, as well as any of these replacement or upgrade parts for this specific model computer, there'll be a link above, also below in the description, and it will give you a list of all those tools, supplies, and replacement parts for this computer. Now, before I do anything in a computer, I make sure that the battery is either removed or at least unplugged. It's safer to work on a computer when as little power as possible is running through it. So in this computer, you can either unplug it first and just leave the battery in, or you can take the whole battery out. I'll show you how to do both now. It's held down by 4 screws, 1 on each side, the left and the right, and then 2 on the bottom near the left and right corners. Once you take those screws up, it plugs into the motherboard right here. Now that's a snap plug. That's not an insert plug. This just snaps directly up and off of that port. Be aware these wires are fragile. All wires in a laptop are fragile. So whenever you're working on a plug, try to avoid pulling or jerking on these wires. Just manipulate the plug itself. Also, as you can see, this white wire is held down to the battery by these 2 pieces of tape. This is one of your antenna wire that comes over here to the right and snaps onto your Wi-Fi card. If you don't want to yank that off, make sure that you undo these pieces of tape before taking your battery out. Okay, so to get into the motherboard replacement, we're going to want to unhook everything from the motherboard. So this right here is your keyboard ribbon cable that plugs into the motherboard here. And this is your touchpad ribbon cable, plugs into the motherboard here. This ribbon cable comes to this USB board here. Now, all of these types of connectors, these are very fragile, so I'm going to explain how you can operate these. If you notice, there's a white plug and a black clip, and the ribbon cable plugs in underneath the black clip. The way to operate this is you're going to take a small, flat, a very, very flat pry tool and gently slide it under this black clip from the bottom. On this one, it would be from the left. And then what you're going to do is gently pop that black clip up. It opens like a book cover. So it'll open from this side on the bottom, the hinges would be on the top, and it'll open like a book cover. That will release your ribbon cable. Now that black clip is very fragile. If you break it, you may not be able to find a replacement, which means that that ribbon cable will never securely fasten it in there again. So very important that you go gentle and you don't break that black clip. And also after removing your ribbon cable, I always like to put the black clip back down just so it doesn't get caught on anything. But so you would undo these 3 ribbon cables. Your speaker plugs into the motherboard right here. Your LCD cable comes down, plugs in here. there's a little gold bar you'll notice on yours. It comes off of the top part here, the actual LCD cable plug, and it goes around the port here. You're going to pop that bar up, and then you're going to slide this up and out of the port right there. That's how you get your LCD cable out. And then lastly, you have your fan plugged in here. Very fragile wire. Don't pull on that wire. You can grab it by the grips on either side with your fingernail or a pry tool, and you can pry that off. And then you'd have to remove your fan. As you'll see here, your fan screws down there. So unscrew that, unscrew this, unscrew these three, take your fan off. And then your motherboard is kind of released at that point from everything plugging into it. You're going to need to undo this screw in the top left of your motherboard, this screw in the top right, this screw right here down bottom, and then this metal bracket is going to have to come out. It's got 4 screws, 1 here, 2 here, and 1 here. And once that comes up, you'll be able to take this motherboard up and you'll be able to do a motherboard replacement. So that's the video. I hope it was helpful. Please feel free to subscribe if you enjoy DIY computer content like this, but also if you just want to keep me on hand to answer any of your computer questions. I do try to answer all questions and comments at least a couple times a day. But make sure you do check out the FAQs below in the description. It could save you some time getting an answer to commonly asked questions. Also, feel free to check out the related links section below in the description. I try to add from time to time things in there that I think can help you or make your computer life, your computer world more enjoyable and more productive. So thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you on my next video.